What's going on, everybody? It's Big Rat 310 here again, and I want to say thank you all for the very nice comments that y'all have been leaving on my channel lately. I'm still feeling pretty bad. My voice is getting a lot better, as you can tell, but my cough is just horrendous. And now, really, I'm so warm and hot. Literally every day I wake up sweating, and I have the fan like all the way up in my room. The AC is like 60 something in the house, and I'm sweating. My body temperature really is just not with me right now. My cough is still pretty loud, and I get headaches and stomach aches now. So I'm still not feeling pretty well. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have to stay here in quarantine, as I call it, because I'm not allowed to leave my room except to go to the bathroom or to eat. And to eat, really, they're supposed to bring it to me, but sometimes I get hungry. Like at night, I get hungry and everyone's asleep, and I can't sleep. That's another thing. I can't sleep. I was up till 4 a.m. yesterday. I can't sleep. I ran to the kitchen and got myself some food. So let's go do this. Also, let me say the feud between me and christalkshowrule. Done. I talked with him on Skype. You know, we cleared our differences. We talked it over. He apologizes to me and to all the IWC for anything if he you know, meant. He didn't really mean to offend everyone on here. And we're done. That's why I took the videos off my channel. As, you know, just say that we're done. And the feud is over. Okay, now I'm going to get to the next 4 shows, 5 technically, but I don't know if I'll be able to fit the 5th one in. I've realized, by the way, to clear my DVR, it's going to take a while. I still have 2 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, 3 episodes of The Ultimate Fighter, 3 episodes of ROH on HDNet, an episode of Monk, an episode of Psych. I have some, like 3 top 10s from the NFL. I still have so much on there. It's going to take me a long time to completely deplete it out, that I'm just going to go straight to watching the wrestling DVDs because I haven't seen one in 2 days. But today, I'm going to watch The Secret of Gorilla Island for sure. Hopefully Manhattan Mayhem, and I'm going to try to get a review for you guys. Okay, my TV season views on House. Gotta say, the season premiere, that is one of the best season premieres I've ever seen in my life. I mean, Dexter's ranks up there. This one was pretty damn good, I must say. I really, really liked House in the ward. My only gripe with it is, like I said, in TV nowadays, they always kind of rush things. It is too fast. In one episode, House is cured. He's going to go back to the hospital. He's going to be his sarcastic old self. And then next season, somewhere down the line, he's going to start taking Vicodin again. They did this in season 2. The last episode, Cuddy gave House ketamine. And that made him have severe delusions. His brain was like all confused. And at the beginning of season 3, he was fine. No, he could walk. He didn't need a cane. He didn't need the Vicodin. And then, you know, like 4 episodes into it, pop, done. He really just couldn't stop. And I think they're going to do the same route here. And I think they rushed it. They could have done 2 to 3 episodes, 3 to 4 episodes more on him being in the clinic. They kind of rushed it into 2. Technically 1. It was a 2-hour premiere. I think they're going to split into 2 episodes though on the DVD. And I really liked where it was going. We could have seen more out of the characters. I mean, we had some development, but not a lot. Like, they could have done a whole season on this if they wanted, which I would have been fine with. Or at least a half a season, like they kind of did with Earl. Which, Earl kind of, like I've said this before. Actually, no, I don't think I've said this before. My Name is Earl is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Because the first season was absolutely 100% tremendous. The second season was still very, very funny. No, not as good, but still very, very funny. The 4th season was not good. But the 3rd season was so god-awful. You have 10 episodes of him in jail. Then you have a great episode of him being Bad Earl. Then you have 6 episodes of him being Karma. And then you have 2 regular, him in a coma. And then you have, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, coma episodes. And then you only have, 2 real episodes. And I just think it's totally dumb. I think that whole season was just a wreck, and the 4th season didn't do much to help people's views on it, and that's why they signed their own death wish. The show's canceled, and it's their own fault. They had a good season, and they really just blew it. And they ended on such a good cliffhanger, too, but just not good. Not good at all. Okay, so House, like I said, very good, though. I like how Foreman's in charge, but like I said, we're just going to go back to normal, in my opinion, in a few weeks. I'm really looking forward to the next episode about the Buddhist leader, I think, who's going to kill half of his country, but he's sick. And, they're confused, do we cure him? But if we do, he's going to go and he's going to kill people. You know, we cannot cure him, but then he's going to die. Sounds pretty good. And also, like I said, I forgot to mention this too. House is a hobby of cooking, of a hobby of not being in the hospital. They could have done more with that too. I just think they rushed into this whole thing. Still pretty good though. Next you get to Monk versus Psych. I started watching Monk when Psych came out. And I used to compare the two shows. And Psych almost every single week won. But now Monk, in its final season, I gotta say, Monk is kicking ass and taking names. Monk is possibly the best murder mystery show on television right now. Every episode this year has been so good. Like, tremendously good. And I don't know if Psych writers are getting lazy or if Monk writers are just overshadowing them, but Monk has beaten Psych every week this year, in my opinion. And Psych really, a lot of their episodes are just like, Like their last one, I was like, the priest one, I was like, way too obvious. It's just like, I don't know, I just did not like it too much. I'm not liking their episodes this year a lot. Monk really, though, is showing something. Last year I thought they were very good, but I thought Psych was a little better. But this year Monk is damn good. Monk is, I would say, the best murder mystery show on television right now. And I know people don't like it because you already know who did it. To me, that doesn't matter. I watch the show just as much for the comedy as I do for the murder mystery. It's a very fun show. And the point of it is, so here's what I hate. People always, in regular murder mysteries, people always guess, in regular whodunits, or as the English would say in the 1800s, cozy tea mysteries. People would always try to say, who did it, who did it, who did it, who did it. To me, that's stupid. Because any idiot can just take a guess. I pick him, and he could be right. No. With the art, you see, murder mysteries in the 1800s in novels and stuff were considered to be mind games. You know, intellectual activities. It's almost like the murder was a puzzle. And when you're just guessing, you can't figure it out. The whole logic and the puzzle and what makes you an intelligent person about watching murder mysteries is to figure out how they did it. That to me is the most important part. And Murder, She Wrote and all those other shows, yes, I do watch Murder, She Wrote, Here Comes the Criticism, and Poirot. What do you want? My grandmother and my mom were big murder mystery fans. So when I was a kid, I watched a lot. I still watch them. I watched a lot of those shows. They focus mainly on who did it. And to me, the most important thing is how they did it. And no other show besides Monk, not even Psych, Monk really emphasizes. Because Psych, you don't even know who did it. In Monk, you usually always know, which I like. You figure out how they did it. That's the most important part for me, how they did it. And I love how Monk embellishes on that. And that's really it's really the best murder mystery show on television, I'll say, because it's really funny. How they did it, they're getting really creative. They're getting really, really, really good. And I'm just loving the season a lot. Psych, I'm not liking too much, I'll admit. I do not like the season so much this year. Maybe because Monk is just so much better, or because Psych is really getting lazy, because I've not liked the season that much at all. Next to Eli Stone. This used to be my favorite show on television. And I knew it was heading down a bad path, because the way they worked out their plot. The first episode about autism, and I have a relative with autism, so this is very serious to me. They got a lot of criticism, like a lot of criticism. And I just knew with all the controversy behind their first episode, they would get in a lot of trouble. And they did. And then to base their whole show about religion, I knew they would get in a lot of trouble. And they did. I didn't really mind the religion. As y'all know, I'm a religious guy. I'd say I'm not really overly Catholic, although I try to just live by my own morals and my own principles, whatever that may be. I respect all religions, even atheism, even though it's not really a religion. I respect all that. And I think that maybe in some cases it's not good to bring it to television, but I think in one person at least has to try it. And I think they did try it, and I think it worked perfectly fine with me. See, in television nowadays, you always see this when they bring religion into an aspect of the television show, and they give a rational explanation for it. But they kind of use the coincidence excuse, like it's too many coincidences, and a lot of people in this world do not believe in a consistent amount of coincidences, and like you have your faith about religion. And I was like, I mean, I know that's rational, that can happen to anyone, but really, it's just a big coincidence, and I really love that. That's what makes the show so great. And I'm really disappointed because the way they built it, they really only had one season, which was, that he had an aneurysm. He gets messages from God through the aneurysm, that he gets visions, and that helps him in his law firm. It's a great plot, no doubt. But the way they booked it, the way they did it, like, you really can't go much more than one season. At the end of the first season, boom, aneurysm goes away. And then the second season, aneurysm comes back. And it's like doing it all over again. I'm like, what? That's it, they're done. Because made the first season kind of pointless. And this was one of my favorite shows of all time, but I think that the series finale was just so weak. So weak. I mean, I'm still confused. Who does he love more, Maggie or Grace? Because I still can't fucking figure it out. Though, like, at the end, he's, like, talking about Grace, and how Grace could die. And that a heart transplant saved Grace. And then he says, don't hurt people that I love. Don't hurt people like I love Maggie. And the dad, who was dead, and who was, like, in heaven, telling his message, and he says, yeah, don't forget, I didn't hear that. I never heard you say, I don't love Maggie, that you love Maggie. And then, like, at the end, he puts a picture of Maggie on his desk, and he just walks away. I'm like, what? Who does he love? Maggie or Grace? Grace wasn't even in the series finale, and that was a huge disappointment to me. And really, they made it so important. They made her seem like she was Eli's soulmate. But in the first season, Eli has this vision that him and Maggie have a fucking child. At a guy 10 years ago's, like, concert, congratulations thing or anything. I'm like, what? This makes no sense. Nonetheless, all are good shows, and I thank you all for your kind words. I'm